Thank you for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to tap the bell, subscribe, and comment down below. Hello.
Hi, Hope.
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good. It's nice to see you guys after a few weeks.
You too.
I feel like it's been forever.
Is it a bit warmer?
Yes, definitely better weather. I'm trying to think of the time that we talked. It was probably, yeah, pretty cold. So it's definitely warming up. It's
That's
not
good.
not like spring weather yet. I wish it was, but it's getting to the point where it's like, okay, I'm tired of winter. Like I'm ready for summer. I've had enough.
That's fair enough.
It's probably pretty warm in Australia, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
in 29 today. I think the next couple of days are going to be in the 30s.
Yeah, we've had nice
Man.
weather the last week. So, and not much rain the last week, so it's been really nice.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. Can't, yeah. I might be a little bit jealous, but it's fine. Maybe one day I'll move somewhere warmer.
Yeah, yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining for the interview today. I'm super excited to have a good conversation.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys start off by just a simple introduction? You can tell us who you are and where you live, and then what you do for work.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Michael, and this is Joe. We live in Kingsville, which is a suburb of Melbourne in Australia. So we're a long way away from Canada, but we feel very close to Canada at the same time. For work, I work in HR. So I work for Australia's sovereign wealth fund and look after people there.
Cool. And I work as a strategy consultant. So I help businesses that are looking to try and grow. So like try and enter new markets or sell new products or new services. And I help consult them on how to do those types of things.
Very cool. And how long have you guys been together for?
We've been together
Since
9
20,
years.
yeah, 9 years,
9
9
years.
years.
15.
2015.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Time
cool.
flies.
Time.
Long enough for us to not remember
Yeah.
instantaneously.
You're to that point where you
Good
just kind of
answer.
stop counting. You're like, wait a second, how long has it
What year
been?
is it?
Pretty cool. So, living in Australia, can you give us a picture of what your day to day life looks like and maybe give us a picture of what you like to do for fun?
Yeah, sure. I mean, day to day on a weekday, we'd probably both be going off to work. Sometimes we work from home, which is a great thing that we can both do in our jobs. So that's really nice. We'll probably head off to work in the morning and we'll come home. We'll cook a meal together. We always try to eat together. We don't sort of eat separately. On weekends, we hang out a lot. We spend a lot of time together. We go out and eat. We'll eat at cafes if we can, and spend time with our families and friends, and do a lot of exercise together, which is really nice.
Awesome, very cool. Do you guys have a favorite cafe to go to that's close, I guess, to where
Yeah.
you live?
There's one that's actually not too far from us that has like Nordic themed food, which I feel
Ooh.
like doesn't sound that great because when I think of Nordic cuisine, I think of lots of fish, and I'm not a
Yeah.
big fish fan. But I think it has quite nice food. It's mostly vegetarian.
Oh,
Mike and I both eat meat, but I
yeah.
think the food's quite nice there.
Mm.
So that's probably our favorite place.
That's very cool. It's nice to try different foods and
Yeah,
experiment
yeah,
and see
That's
exactly.
what you
right.
like. Yeah, very cool. So, diving into your relationship, how do you handle disagreements and conflicts?
Yeah.
Good, good
It
question.
is a good one. I
Good.
mean, I think probably the first thing is that it's probably more that we talk about it straight away.
Yeah.
So I think one of the most important things is you're pretty aware when you've been together with someone for a while, that kind of feeling of a little bit of conflict starts pretty early. And so I think for us, it's about just having that conversation straight away when we're both feeling like that and
Yeah.
making sure that we talk about it and we don't let it sort of fester into something else. So that's probably the first thing. I think then secondly, it's probably just understanding that sometimes we're not always going to be perfectly agreed on all the really small things,
Hmm.
as long as we're agreed on all the really big things.
Yeah.
And we are agreed on all the really big things. So I think in that way, it probably makes it a little bit easier. If it's conflict about, I don't know, there can be like tiny little things, they're easy to sort of resolve and compromise. Whereas like all the big things, we make sure that we're just aligned on that, and we always are. So
Yeah.
that's
And
probably me.
and we never go to bed angry as well.
Oh
We
yeah.
always make sure we sort things out before we ever go to sleep.
Yes, that's a really good one. I think sometimes that can be easier said than done because I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe it's just me, but sometimes I'm like, I just want to go to bed. And then it's
Yeah,
better to
yes.
talk about
That's
it
true.
Leave me
before.
alone.
Yeah, yeah, leave me alone. um, so, can you talk about maybe you could list three qualities that you admire the most of each other?
Yeah. I've got lots I think I admire about Joe, but I really love his kindness
Yeah.
and his warmth towards other people. I love the care that he has for his family in particular, and I love his big, beautiful smile. He has a very big smile, and that's the thing that I love the most about him, I think.
That's pretty
Um,
amazing.
so I feel like my first one is exactly the same. So it's definitely kindness that Mike shows. Maybe that's why we were drawn to each other. But kindness for family and friends, and his care towards them. I think probably consideration and respect for people, and what that means for like even the small things around making sure that we're on time to places and things like that, which sometimes I'm not the best at.
Yeah,
And then maybe one that's probably maybe I'll go with four because I know you said three, but
that's
the
okay.
third one is probably a smaller one, but he's super organized, and I think I'm a relatively organized
Oh,
person,
yeah,
but it's really nice having someone that's able to sort of make sure that all of our sort of life admin is always done,
yeah,
that our holidays are sort of always booked in advance. So it can be
yeah.
really nice for me.
Maybe it's OCD.
And then and then the last one, which is maybe not a quality about him, but maybe mainly just how he makes me feel. I think the most important thing is just that he makes me feel confident in being
Mm,
me,
hmm.
and that's like super important. So and I've always felt like that around him. So yeah, mine.
That's amazing. I love that. I always love that question because then I don't know, it's sweet and wholesome and get to compliment each other. It's so nice. Did you guys prepare some pictures to share?
We did,
Yeah, we
yeah.
did.
Okay. Would
Yeah.
you be able to share your screen and
Yeah,
then
sure.
you can just go through the pictures and explain them to us and yeah, give us a picture of what your life looks like.
This first photo is from our wedding. So we got married in 2019, and we got married in the Yarra Valley, which is about an hour and a half outside of Melbourne, where there's a lot of wineries and a big wine region. And this is one of the wineries, and it was inside their wine shed or their barrel shed that we got married. So this is just a photo of us walking down the aisle after our ceremony.
That's a
Yeah,
beautiful
I think
venue.
a big decision before in the planning was whether we were going to wear the same thing or or wear different things.
Yeah.
The best thing about wearing the same thing though was that we were able to get ready together, which is actually really nice. I think a lot of people don't get to do
Yeah.
that, but we spent the whole day together, which was really nice, even before the wedding.
Yeah. That's really, really smart to do that.
Here's us again. This is still at the wedding, just on the outside. And this is us with our nieces and nephews. So on the left, we've got holding Nathaniel. That's Joe's brother and his wife's son. They've got another daughter as well, Mackenzie. She's not in the photo. In the middle is Nina. That's Joe's sister's daughter. She's 7 now, so she's really grown up.
Aw.
And then Joe is holding Joe is holding Charlotte, who is my sister's daughter and her husband. So also not in the photo is my brother's daughter Stella. So we're very lucky. We've got 5 nieces and nephews, which we're very
Oh,
lucky to
wow.
have.
That's awesome.
Yeah. This is a photo from our holiday that we took. We were in Iceland, and this is in Reykjavik. So anybody who's been lucky enough to have gone to Reykjavik in Iceland would know this street well. Looking up to the church, which is a very famous landmark in that city.
Very cool. I've always wanted to travel to Iceland.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this one's another Iceland shot. So this is just on a beautiful lake. Believe it or not, we were there in summer or the tail end of summer. So that's why we're not, overly
Mm-hmm.
dressed
Yeah.
for the occasion. It wasn't too cold there, despite the fact that we're on a glacial lake there, looking up to a glacier. It was a very beautiful location.
That's really cool.
This one, we were very lucky to have gone to Yosemite National Park in California, and this is a shot that we took there. That was a very magical, beautiful place. And last but not least, this was a photo from a glacier in Argentina. We're in
Wow.
Patagonia in the south, very, very far south of Argentina, and we got to walk on the glacier, which was pretty magical, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
Um, having dodging the crevasses and
Yeah.
other things to make sure we didn't fall down, but it was a very beautiful scene. So yeah, that's just a few photos that we wanted to share of us.
Yeah, we were pretty lucky. I think after we got married, we we were always thinking that we wanted to do a really like around the world trip, and so we were probably planning that almost before we got married, I think. Um, and so it ended up being a nice part of our honeymoon. Sorry, our cat is currently just scratching the couch over here.
No, that's okay.
Did you hear that, Nevis?
It was pretty quiet. I don't.
Oh, well.
It wasn't too loud.
Yeah. So yeah, so it was an amazing trip that we got to have and got to see so many different countries and so many different landscapes,
Yeah.
which was amazing.
And thank you for sharing those pictures. That was pretty amazing. So,
Very welcome.
we're going to jump into a more surrogacy focused conversation. And if you could just give us a picture of what your journey has looked like so far, kind of in like a speedy way, and then I'll ask you a couple questions.
Yeah, no problem. So we decided perhaps a bit over a year ago that we wanted to start this journey, and we had some friends who had done the same thing. Some Australian friends who had been in Canada and gone through ANU as well to do their journey. They now have a 2-year-old, 3-year-old son,
Wow.
and so we started that journey. We kicked it off pretty quickly after that, I think, and it took us a little while to choose an egg donor. That was something that we wanted to make sure that we really did spend some time on, and then the tyranny of distance, I suppose, meant that we had to get over to Canada to
Mm-hmm.
start the process of being able to create embryos. So that took us a little bit of time to organize, but at this point, we've got some embryos that are in the freezer at our clinic in Calgary, which is Oasis Fertility,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're really looking for a surrogate who wants to share this journey with us. So that's probably the short version of where we're at.
Yeah, I love it. That's awesome. So, what does your support system look like in terms of friends and family?
Yeah. I think, well, I mean, some of the photos show a little bit of
Yeah.
that. So obviously we've got family, both of our families, both of our siblings all have children. So I think in some ways it's just nice to have that like shared experience about people that have had children. Obviously not in the same way that we're
Yeah.
looking to
Right.
embark on our journey. But I think, like Mike said, we have friends that have gone through the surrogacy sort
Mm-hmm.
of journey and have so I guess that helps us as well, just sort of with what we're feeling and all of those things. And then probably most importantly, we've got each other. I think that's probably the number one support network for each other. I think both of us sort of just want to take it one step at a time and make sure that we
Yeah.
sort of just make sure we do everything that we can, and then sort of look for the next step rather than trying to sort of get too far ahead
Yeah.
of ourselves. So that's probably the important thing for us. And then, if one of us is feeling a little bit, like just anxious or anything like that, we just sort of talk about it. I think it's relatively natural in a process like this. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just making sure you recognize it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice that you guys have friends that have gone through the surrogacy journey as well, and so you can kind of fall back on them and they can be encouraging to you because I know that the wait it can feel long and be long, and just keep encouraging you guys to have patience and stay
Yeah.
positive, and yeah, very cool. So, how involved do you hope to be in terms of doctor's appointments and potentially the birth itself?
Well, I mean, we would be, I think we'd be very open to exploring. that with the surrogate, how involved she'd want us to be. I mean, we would absolutely love to be involved as much as possible. I mean, given we're on the other side of the world, we won't always be there in person, but if there's an opportunity to, dial in Zoom or Teams into an appointment, one of the
Yeah.
milestone appointments, we'd always be grateful. There might be an opportunity for us to come over at some point during a pregnancy as well. But other than that, I think just staying in touch, we'd love to hear, how she's feeling and the ups and the downs and to be there to support her as well in the way that she wants and the way that we can do that from a distance. So I think that's the sort of relationship we'd be looking for. And then afterwards, I think again we would be very open to a relationship. I think somebody giving a gift like this means that they're always going to be an important part of our lives in
Yep.
whatever that means and whatever
Mhm.
she wants that to mean as well. But again, we would be open to sharing that.
Yeah, that's a great answer. And I think that just the option of zooming in or on a team call, like you said, to an appointment since you're on the other side of the world, I think that's a great idea. And that would be super fun because then you're there and still a part of it in a way. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So, is there a childhood memory that you are looking forward to potentially recreating when you have a child of your own?
One of them is probably more day to day, and then one of them is probably something that I did when I was younger.
Yeah.
The first is just as a family. So I've got two siblings, but my dad used to rent a movie from Blockbuster when Blockbuster was a thing, and would so when I was like, and this was probably from when I was about 5 to when I was like 9 or 10, and we would normally just watch that movie as a family. It was like something that we just did all together. Um, and I think any moment that like we sort of have closeness as a family in relation to those types of things was just really important for me, just sort of spending time together. And so I think that's really important for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I would love to do that, whether it's like a show or something like that that we can sort of watch together and make fun of together or whatever that is. And then I
Yeah.
think the other one, which is probably a bit more vivid, was around sort of holiday. I think when I was younger, we probably traveled a lot more around Australia. And so apart from all the fun road trip things, I think the one that I remember is being in going to the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. And I went there when I was about 5, so I was pretty little, but I could swim. And I just remember snorkeling with my dad and my brother, and how like I still remember like vividly what the fish and the coral look
Mm.
like. And I think it's something that's stayed with me for like 30 years now. So I think just having that sort of experience as a family, seeing something pretty incredible, particularly in a place like Australia, would be pretty amazing to try and recreate.
Absolutely. Are there any other hobbies that you're looking forward to introducing to your child?
I would love despite my age, make a lot of Lego. I love building model cars out of Lego, and I don't know. I had Lego when I was a little kid, and I remember thinking, it's such a creative way to, you know, um, learn about building or to learn about being creative,
Yeah.
and so that's something I would love to share, but both as a shared hobby, but also to, get a kid into Lego. That'd be heaps of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many cool things that you can build now with those kits. Like, I have friends that their walls are covered in like these Lego um, things that they've built, and it's pretty amazing. And it tests your patience, I think. That's one thing, is
Yeah,
it builds your patience. Takes
absolutely.
time. Awesome. Well, I have one more question for you to end off our interview, and that is, what are you most excited for right now in this moment?
Oh, I think just the anticipation that maybe one day we'll be able to have a family of our own.
Mm-hmm.
I think I mean we have a very happy life together, but I think a child would certainly be something that would sort of complete
Yeah.
our little family. And and I think the anticipation of that is just and the potential for that is really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm very excited for you guys, and I can't wait for
Thank you.
the day to come when you get your surrogate and you start that part of your journey. So awesome. Well, with that, that's all I have, and so I just wanted to say thank you for doing this interview with us.
Well, thank you
Of
very
course,
much.
thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thank you very much,
Awesome.
Hope.
Okay.
Thanks, Hope.
See you. Bye.
See you later.